welcome to the show, Bowen. I'm so happy you're here.
I'm very happy to be here. Wow.
And this is a work day for you. This is the Monday pitch day. And when I first met you, when I hosted, you were a writer on the show.
Yes.
And then you became a cast member. You had auditioned before you became a writer.
Yeah, a few times.
And what were your audition pieces?
So I never thought it would happen, so I just had fun with it. So I would do just like really just silly people. I did my Soul Cycle instructor. I did the choking poster guy. And then they would ask you to do impressions every time.
Yeah.
And I had to go back in a few times, and then I at a certain point, I just ran out of Asian public figures.
Yeah.
So then I really scraped the bottom of the barrel, and I did Michiko Kakutani. Do people know who she is?
New York Times book reviewer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Seth. So
and was ripe for the taking.
so ripe.
Yeah.
She
And I mean, for years, Lauren would be like, "We don't have one."
Michiko.
Yeah.
Who's gonna use the word limn in this sketch? So the thing about her is that she's never really been photographed, and no one knows what she sounds like.
Perfect for an impression.
But it gave me free reign to do whatever I wanted.
Yeah, there you
so
go.
it's great. It's fun.
One of your first characters you did on the show was, I guess, the Minister of Trade, yes?
Yes.
The Trade Daddy.
Trade Daddy. Ken Biao.
How did this come to pass?
This was part of my I think in one of my auditions I did him right as the trade war was starting, and I was like, it feels topical, but how do you make this funny? And then really the only way to do that is just to make him catty and mean.
Yeah.
So that's just
It
who he
paid
is.
off. You also this was before you were a full cast member.
Yes.
You played Kim Jong Un.
Yes.
And
KJU.
KJU.
baby.
And
Yeah.
he loves it, right?
He loves it.
He
We call him
loves it. You
KJU.
guys, yeah. And you, but this is fantastic because again, it's before you're a full cast member, so
Yeah.
you also had a sketch that you had written in the show, independent of this.
I was going through a super long dry spell. When you first start out as a writer, you're just getting your bearings, and you don't really get stuff on, and that's fine. It's part of the crucible you have to walk through. But then that show, I helped write 2 pre-taped sketches, and I was helping out on her monologue, and it was the busiest week. I haven't had as busy of a week as that since, even as a cast member. And we did this. I was in my Kim Jong Un, and then had to run under the bleachers during dress rehearsal. So when you're writing a sketch, you have to go sit next to Lorne under the audience, and he's watching and he's giving you notes. He's like, maybe we cut to Keenan sooner or something. And then, but I was still in the full KJU
Yeah.
fit, and then just sat next to him while he was giving me feedback.
But
and I was like, yeah,
that's the only way Lauren respects you is if you dress like a dictator.
Absolutely.
He's like, you can do, or not.
Just
Yep. It's up to you today.
Exactly.
You also that was Sandra. Oh, hosting was
Yes.
just exciting in its own right, but she was a big deal for you. Yeah.
She was a big deal for me. I remember seeing her in The Princess Diaries and thinking, who is that woman? Then I stumbled on an episode of Arliss, and I was like, okay, this is not age appropriate for me as a child. And then watched Grey's Anatomy and thought, oh, I'm going to be a doctor.
Just because of Sandra Oh
Just
playing
because
one
of-
on TV.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then really, it's an example of bad representation because it tricks Asian people into going into the medical field.
Yeah.
When they should be doing something else.
Now, I do want to point out, people you grew up around had some ideas that this was going to happen. This is really cool.
Oh.
Your superlative was most likely to be a cast member on Saturday Night Live.
Kind of crazy. That's wild.
That's really
Weird.
So,
It's weird.
if I'm doing the math right, you had a 10-year reunion. Did you
10-year
get to
reunion.
go?
I did not go because our student body class president is nowhere to be found.
Oh, no.
So I hope he's doing okay. Zach, Glenn, if you're doing okay, please let us know. But no, it never came together. But I would have loved to go.
Well, it's really sweet.
Yeah.
That the fact, you have to see them again collectively because they will feel so right.
Sure.
No one who
Got
writes
it.
superlative, at Donald Trump's high school, wasn't most likely to be impeached.
Sure,
you know?
sure. Absolutely. They should all be agents or something.
They should all be agents now. You, so you were born in Australia. Grew up in
Yes.
Colorado, born in Australia.
Yes, and then Montreal was in between. So my dad and my mom met in China. Then they moved to Brisbane. Was born there with my sister, and then we moved to Montreal, and then we moved to Denver. So I've lived in all these places that used to be owned by England. I'm a little Commonwealth baby. Yeah.
So your parents are Chinese. Were they excited when they heard you were on SNL?
They knew that I liked the show. They knew it was a big deal for me when I got hired as a writer. But then they asked me, they did not know what the show was. And so they were like, does this mean you have to move to Hollywood now? or something. They don't know that it's here.
They didn't know the first detail about the show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Truly the first piece of information that's given out on the show is that it's in New York and they didn't know.
Have they been able to come and see it?
They have. They came a couple times. They came last year for my birthday during Liev Schreiber's show.
Oh, that's good.
And they really liked Lil Wayne. My dad was like, he's really good. He's got bars.
Yeah.
And then they came for the premiere this season too, which was so great.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm so happy you're on the show, and I'm so
Thanks.
happy to have you here today. It's just absolutely
Thanks so
fantastic
much,
talking.
Seth. This is so
Bowen
great.
Yang, everybody.